Reform Housing and Urban Development Act 1993. So basically, the first statute was the Lease Reform Act 1967, which applied only to the houses to a specific value. But subsequently, then it was changed by 1974 Act. Then again, it was changed by Lease Reform Housing and Urban Development Act 1993, which applies to the flats as well. Then it was also revised once again, and then finally was done a final version, which was a Commonwealth and Leasehold Reform Act 2002. Right. So this is just like to give you a little bit basic about when it started, how it works. So there are various ways how you extend your leases for leasehold flats, and also the act for the houses is slightly different. So for the flats you get 90 years extension under 1993 Act, and for the houses you get 50 years extension under 67 Act. So the way the process works is basically the leaseholder starts the process of lease extensions by serving a notice of claim. There is a specified procedure which we go through more in details, in one of our workshop, or if you are appointing one of our company, then you will know a little bit more about it. And then the landlord normally serve a counter notice objecting on whatever he wants in return of what we proposed or what he accept. Yeah. So a little legal part. Now we are going to discuss about a method of how do we calculate. Many times people do ask me these questions, can you please explain how does the premium work? My lease is 65 years left or 50 years left. How much is the value? Of course, there's no specific, answer to that, because we have to go through a procedure to calculate that. And the way that is done, so this particular section of valuation is not an exact science. It is based on the calculation using a combination of known fact and also unknown fact that we take as an assumption to work it out, the lease extension valuation figure. So the first component on that is the length of your unexpired lease. So we first have to look at how much years of lease is left in your how many years of unexpired terms are left in your lease. So that's the one of the component that we have to factor in. Second is we need to see your current ground rent and how frequently does it reviews. For example, is your ground rent like £50 a year for first 33 years, then it goes up by £100 a year from the next 33 years, then it goes up to 150 years and next, and so on. So there are various ways of this ground rent gets reviewed. In some cases it's linked with like various other factors such as RPI index, such as your market values, or so many other things that we have been noticing this lease, and more to deal in that later. Now then we also look into the property's current value. So we see what is the current value of this property as unexpired term. So existing leasehold value we first work out. And also, of course, we have to work out if the same property would have an extended lease, what it would be worth then. Yeah. So we basically have to work that also out. And then we apply a yield rate, and that yield rates are basically we capitalize the ground rent. Say for example, whatever the ground rent that a landlord is supposed to collect, we apply a yield of, let's say, 5%, 6%, 7%. Of course, we do explain this more in our workshop, but today I'm just giving an overview because many of the people do ask me this type of questions, like how do you work out the lease extension. So I'm just going through a basic of each part, what is involved in our lease extension valuation calculation. And then we also work out the deferment rate, which is many times people do use 5%, which was awarded in Sportelli versus Cadogan case. And this deferment rate is applied normally to the leasehold reversionary interest. So whatever the landlord is going to get back, we apply that deferment rate to that leasehold. Now, so ultimately the way to work out a freehold value is we take mainly the ground rent, we add the reversionary interest in it, and then we take out any current value, that value of the future income and the future interest that landlord would have in that lease. So we deduct. So we take a difference of what it is now and what it would be in future from the freehold owner point of view. And of course, where the lease are 80 years or more, then there's no marriage value. But when the lease are below 80 years, then the marriage value comes in, which is a difference between the long leasehold value and the short leasehold value. And the leasehold owner share 50-50 with the freehold owner on that. So that's also factors into the principle. Now, let's see the eligibility. Like many times people are not even aware of what they are eligible of, how do they extend really, I mean, whether they can extend their lease or not. Yeah, so there are of course various things. I'm going to just touch base the basic part. So let's say assuming that there is a typical flats in a typical blocks of you know in a block of flat. Normally what the legislation says is the leaseholder should own that lease for at least 2 years. Occupying criteria is no longer an issue. Whether you occupy yourself or you're letting it out, whether you have it as a buy to let, as long as you own it for 2 years, you are eligible to extend the lease. But having said that, there is a way you can get the right of lease extension from your previous seller. So if when you're buying it, we advise it. There's a prescribed procedure that one has to follow. If you follow that procedure, you can get you can get the rights of extension from the previous seller, and then you can carry on with the same process. But you got to do this before you complete your lease. And also there is a way of prescribed procedure how we can also show you how you can further assign that rights to somebody else, so you can sell it to a new incoming buyer of that leasehold flat. So you can acquire the right of extension, you can also buy the right of extension same way. uh, and typically the type of instruction that we get in our surveying practice, which is either we get the instruction from freehold owner, or we get instruction from an intermediary landlord. Intermediary landlord, in case if you are not aware of, there is a landlord in between of the freehold owner and the lease owner. So this is like a middle person who also have a lease. So for example, your lease may be, let's say, 99 years. The landlord lease would be 99 years plus few days plus few years. It could be anything. It could be 99 years plus 1 day. Then also he can be your intermediate landlord. Or it could be instead of 99 year, it could be 125 years or 900 years or anything above your lease. If somebody have got a higher lease, then he becomes your intermediate landlord. Yeah. Or we get instruction from leasehold owner, or it could be the instruction from the incoming leasehold owner who is not probably bought the property yet, but he's considering buying it. So we get instruction from many times from such kind of investors who are buying this. Now, so basically what we discussed so far, that is from a point of view where you can learn from us how to do the lease extension valuation calculation. So you can probably be either in one of those two category. Either you're looking to become a surveyor, or looking to build your career in earning money by extending, or like by providing this as a service to other people, right? So even if you have your own properties, even if you do one of the your own deal, is well worth paying the fees that we charge for a training program, because even in one case you can probably make a couple of £1,000. So our fees is anyways worth less than that. So you will save a lot more by learning from us how to extend a lease and also help others out. Now the other part of that is, we did you may have heard us saying that we have a lot of strategies where we teach people how to make money without physically touching a property. Yeah, so without even physically, I mean, of course, by the time we touch a property we even add more value, but without physically touching a property we can add value. And this particular section of training is one of those part which helps you to add value in a property without even physically touching it. So now how you can also make money out of this using this as a strategy. Let's say for example you may be an investor. Now you're looking from an investment point of view, how you can really make money by using the skills. I mean, in fact, we have made a lot of money by using the skills itself, because we have advantage. We are property investor as well as we are also RSS registered valuer, and we are surveyor ourselves. Yeah. So now, so many times people have issues with short leasehold properties, such as they can't really sell those property when the lease are really too short, or they can't get a mortgage on those properties, because many lenders will not lend you after a certain stage when the lease goes shorter. And even when you are selling it in the open market, you will attract only the cash buyers because mortgage is not involved. So you are restricting your market, which means you are selling it for lower the price than what it would be otherwise worth. Yes, so that's why it's always advisable. So of course depends who we are acting for, and we normally advise them the best way according to their situation. Now, you being an investor, what you can do is, if you're buying a short leasehold property, you can consider that as an opportunity because you will end up getting that as a below market value. And by using our skill set, we show you that in our workshop how you can really, without spending money, strike a deal in such a way that you basically get involved into the extending that lease. And then let's say for example, our current lease, whatever it is worth, let's say a current leasehold flat is worth 200,000 pounds. Then by extending a lease, you may be probably bringing a new value of 280,000, which means there's 80,000 pound extra value you can get by extending the lease. But maybe the cost to extend the lease would be only 25,000. Yeah, which means you can really make 55 to 60,000 pound on that once you know how to do that, right? So that's why it's very important to learn this skill set, whether you are a property investor or you're probably just looking to use this as a service tool which you can help others, and you can make this as a business for yourself by learning these skills. And other ways also, like you learn in a workshop the type of title splitting strategies. So this is one of those where you can use this for title splitting strategies. Like we have a freehold property, then you can split into few leasehold title, and then also you leave some intrinsic value in your freehold interest even after creating the lease. So this is like basically making a money from a shell, like from the box. So it's like, imagine for example, if you have a piece of cake, you split that cake into four pieces, you make money by selling each slice, plus you make money from the box that contain that cake. You getting my point? Now, also usually we go more in details on all of this part, but then you at least have seen like the type of notices that we use, how to assign, and so many other arrangements. Once you come and join our workshop, we do online and offline both ways. So if you get an opportunity to join one of our live workshop, you can join that, or you can just do our online training program. We leave the links below for you to sign up for the program. Currently we're offering a substantial discount on that. Um, so that's the basically opportunity for you. You can look at it in both ways. One, as an investor. So if you're an investor, you can use the skill set to really make money in a property by not even physically touching it. And also we'll show you how you can really design your strategy in such a way where without spending any money, you can really make money from the property business by using this strategy. Second way, also you can consider this in case, let's say you are into property business, or you may be a surveyor or learning to, or you may be, considering becoming a surveyor, or considering to use this as a service in your existing company. Then you can also learn the strategies from us and then apply that knowledge to help your clients and then make money. Because certainly even if you help just one client by learning our program, your training is well worth more than that. So watching this one, we'll see you in next time. Until then, stay inspired. I love you.